Alright, guys, welcome to the stream, welcome to the channel, welcome to Outsider Speaks. It's a big evening over here as Donald Trump is holding a rally right now. Simultaneously, Kamala Harris will also be rallying live tonight, along with Oprah Winfrey. Of course, Donald Trump right now here early, and he's speaking to the Jewish voters in Washington. The big subject of the speech at the rally, of course, is Israel, is Afghanistan, and Trump is here talking about it. Let's take a listen at what Trump is saying here.
Because we have an election to win. So after all of this, I went from 29 to 40%. And people that are smart said to me, friend of mine Jewish, friend of mine loves Israel, loves everything about your religion and about your country, your place. He said, I can't believe it's happening. It's sad. And he started to cry, actually. He started to cry. With all of this, and he's a tough cookie. I don't think he cried since he was a little tiny baby. Maybe then I don't think he cried. I don't think he cried
I
then.
love how Trump calls
But I
every other
know,
person that he
for me
knows a tough
personally,
cookie. I love that.
admittedly, I really haven't been treated right. But you haven't been treated right because you're putting yourself in great danger. And the United States hasn't been treated right. So if I don't win this election, and I've been very good, they say Trump's been right about everything. I've been right about a lot of things. Even Ted will admit that. I've been right about a lot of things. A lot of things. A lot of people said, no, that won't happen. A lot of bad things happened. And some good things I've been right about, too. And I only want to be, so I'm not going to call this as a prediction, but in my opinion, the Jewish people would have a lot to do with the loss if I'm at 40%. Think of it, that means 60% are voting for Kamala, who in particular is a bad Democrat. The Democrats are bad to Israel, very bad.
That's right.
They'll
Both
never
the
show it
candidates
because
are
they have
going
a
up against
section
each
of the
other
party
today.
now
That
which
is
has become
correct.
amazingly and quickly very
Trump right now, of course,
radical.
holding a rally in Washington,
Chuck
speaking
Schumer
to
is
the
a
Jewish
Palestinian. He really
voters.
knows everything.
And on the other hand, we're going to be
What the
having
hell
Kamala
happened to him?
Harris, who is going to be
I
also
think I
holding a
heard the other
rally,
day he was
and she will
drinking
be talking
Royal Oaks.
with
That's the
Oprah
bad.
Winfrey. So it's going to be an
Chuck
interesting
Schumer
event.
is Hamas all the way. I don't know what the hell happened to him. If you support him, you're crazy. I have never seen his change may be bigger than Kamala on fracking in Pennsylvania. Okay, but if we don't win this election, Israel, in my opinion, within a period of 2 to 3 years, will cease to exist.
It is good to see everybody. Welcome. Hope you're doing well.
It's a tough thing to say, but what difference does it make from my standpoint? I have to tell you the truth, and maybe you'll be energized because there's no way that I should be getting 40% of the vote. I'm the one that's protecting you. These are the people that are going to destroy you, and you have 60% of the Jewish people essentially voting for them. If I do win, Israel will be safe and secure, and we will stop the toxic poison of anti-Semitism from spreading all over America and all over the world. We'll get it stopped. But if I don't win, I believe Israel will be eradicated. And you can't let that happen. And I don't think you will let that happen. So you have to, Rabbi, you have to get everybody together and you have to get them to vote because it's craziness to say.
Of course, this is something that Trump also talked about during the debate, his negotiation skills. He said that if he becomes president, even as a president elect, not a president, but as a president elect, he will make sure that the war between Russia and Ukraine is over. And also, with his negotiation skills, he will also settle the war that is going on right now within Israel. And, Trump right now talking to the Jewish voters, saying that if he does not win, Israel will be eradicated. But if he does win, he is going to save Israel. So, some bold statements here being made by Donald Trump. Definitely. Once again, great to see everybody. Hope you all are doing well. We are, as you can see in the screen behind me, we are 3 minutes and 52 seconds away from Kamala Harris and Oprah Winfrey setting the stage. They are going to be holding, from what it seems like, a virtual event, talking to their supporters, talking to their voters, talking about their mission, their agenda. And Trump right now, of course, talking to the Jewish voters, as we see.
I believe that Israel will be wiped off the face of the earth if I don't win. And that's a big statement. That's a horrible statement to make. And it's just the way I feel. And a lot of people in this room agree with me.
That's a big statement indeed. Trump once again saying that if he does not win, Israel will be wiped off the face of the earth. That's Donald Trump's statement right there. Obviously, a really, really bold statement.
These groups that are protesting with 100,000 people. So they have to change their way because with your vote, you can reject anti-Semitism in our schools, in our communities, in our foreign policy, and in our immigration system. But all of that starts by rejecting Kamala Harris at the ballot box. She is anti-Israel and she is anti-Jewish, and you got to get smart to it.
That's interesting.
And with that, I have great love and great respect for so many of the people in the room. I have so many friends.
Bold statement once again here from Donald Trump, calling Kamala Harris anti-Israel, which is a very, very bold thing to say. You know, he says the first step here towards recovery, essentially, is voting against Kamala Harris in the ballots. Bold statements here being made by Trump, of course. And we are just about 1 minute and 59 seconds away from Kamala Harris and Oprah Winfrey setting the stage, talking to the supporters. This one is going to be an event to watch. Let's see how it turns out to be. And it seems like Trump is wrapping up the event, which is interesting. So it seemed like both the events were maybe going to go head to head, but Trump really, he wrapped up his speech, you know, talking to the Jewish voters, the Jewish community. He wrapped up the speech literally just 1 minute, 1.5 minutes away from Kamala and Oprah's event kicking off. The event is about to kick off and Trump has just wrapped up his speech. What that means is that both the events, both the rallies, they're not gonna go head to head. As predicted earlier, it's not gonna happen. Trump's event has just been wrapped up. Trump has done with his speech. Now it's gonna be Kamala and Oprah who are gonna be setting the stage. Let's see. This is a healthy competition, right? We're not here, I guess we're not here fighting over ratings or views. Very smart of Trump to wrap up his speech right before Kamala Harris events go live. So there's no comparison, no direct comparison of who's getting more views, who's getting more, more traffic, who's getting more ratings. No direct comparison there. Smart. That's a smart thing to do. All right. With that being said, we are just about under 30 seconds left before Kamala Harris hopefully appears live. That's right. This should be about time. Is it time? Hopefully. And that's right. It is time indeed, or so it seems. It's time. Okay. Once again, great to see everybody. Hope you all are doing well. Sorry for the technical glitch. So what I was saying was that they call it the Biden-Harris administration. They don't call it that anymore because obviously Harris is trying to distance herself from Joe Biden, so they don't want to call that now. But of course, we all know that. Sorry about the technical glitch once again, guys. All right, I guess we are just about to kick off the event. But yes, once again, going back to the question of Venom, what do you think? Who do you think has the better policy? So one more time, Kamala Harris already has been in power, and look at what's happening under the Biden-Harris administration. Really, the world, as it feels, is blowing up. We've got wars everywhere. I read somewhere recently we've got more wars than they actually report in the mainstream media. We might be having at the moment close to 50 wars going on, 50 conflicts that are going on across the globe. And of course, all of that is happening when the Biden Harris administration is in charge. So if you talk about better policies, I don't know how Kamala Harris's policies are going to be any different. I'm hoping that they're going to be different, and she's going to be taking some better steps to make sure that there's peace maintained, and the conflicts are resolved. But I don't know how it's going to be much different. But that being said, guys, we are here, and Oprah is already here. This is going to be an interesting event. Let's take a listen.
Thanks for joining us for this very special event, Unite for America! And that's exactly what we're doing live tonight, uniting from Farmington Hills in Oakland County, Michigan. We have 400 people in
You
our
can already
audience and
feel the
thousands
energy in the
more.
room,
Hello,
right? Of course,
everyone on
Oprah,
screen.
a great
Hello,
speaker,
everyone
no
on
doubt about
screen.
that. And she's bringing it.
Thousands
She's
more
bringing
joining
it
us
over
on
here.
screen.
Wow. And look at the
And I am
virtual
here because
audience.
I
This
care
kind of reminds me
deeply
of the
about the
2020,
future
2021
of
era
our
when we
country.
used to have
And I know
virtual
that
audiences
all
like
of
these
you
at
do
sport
too.
events. I know
You
that
care
WWE used to
about
have
the
virtual
future
audience like this.
of
I
our
know that
country.
a lot
And
of
we just
other
saw
sporting
on
events
this
also
tape
try it for
this
these virtual
grassroots,
audiences. This is
people-powered
interesting.
movement
Ricky, welcome, my
behind
brother. Welcome. Hope you're
Kamala
doing well.
Harris
Oprah has
unleashed
brought the
a
Thunderdome
unifying
over
force
here
unlike
with her
anything we've
tonight.
seen
Great to
in
see you,
politics
Ricky.
in a
Hope you're
very
doing well,
long
my
time.
brother.
And I know
Great to
lots
see
of
you.
people are feeling it because it actually is hope and joy rising. And there's been a...
Absolutely.
Can you
She
feel it?
definitely
Can you
attracts a
feel it?
large audience, without a doubt.
We can feel it. We can feel it. We can feel it. We can feel it. There's been so much talk. Been so much talk about that word joy. And I think it's such a good thing because it means that there is a real feeling of optimism and hope, making that comeback, as Michelle Obama said, for this new day that's no longer on the horizon. The new day is actually here. We're in it. We're living it. So let me tell you how this event began. I was on the phone with Joteka Edie, founder of Win with Black Women. We're going to be talking to her a little later on. And we were talking about all the groups inspired by Win with Black Women who had 47,000 women on one call 3 hours after Kamala Harris announced that she was going to be running. 3 hours afterwards, 47,000 women were on the phone. And Joteka and I were talking, wouldn't it be great if we brought all the groups together? Because that phone call inspired all the other groups. And so we said, wouldn't it be great if we brought all the groups together at one time?
Much love to
And
you,
that's why
Ricky,
we're here. So
Weenam,
we have
Surjit,
the cat
everybody.
ladies for Kamala here. Rural Americans for Harris. Caregivers for Kamala. Train lovers for Harris Waltz. I didn't know there were train lovers. Train lovers, chefs for Kamala, love that group. Republicans for Harris, love that group even more. We've got Swifties, where are you? Swifties for Kamala.
I love how the Democrats, right, or the Kamala Harris supporters, they love the fact that Taylor Swift and the Swifties endorsed Kamala. I love how hyped they are about it. It's quite interesting. And I also love how they love when Republicans come out and endorse or support Kamala Harris in this race. But also, let's not forget, some very big Democrats, very, very prominent Democrats came out to support Trump during this race. Let's not forget RFK. Let's not forget Tulsi Gabbard. A lot of big names came out in support of Trump as well. So, when you talk about opposing parties supporting each other, let's not forget Joe Biden putting on that MAGA hat, right? So, let's not go there, I guess. But okay. Wow. Big names over here, okay.
Where are you on the screen? Julia Roberts, where are you? And Miss Meryl Streep is in the house. So glad to have all of you familiar faces and those of you who are not yet familiar to all of us. Okay, Brian, so happy to have you here tonight. Brian Brenton, what do you want to say? Why did you want to join us here tonight?
I'm just smiling from ear to ear, Oprah. I have never felt this much joy and optimism in a campaign in a long time. So I'm just so appreciative of Kamala to be able to bring back that sense of optimism and to squash the cynicism and the vitriol and the rancor that just seems to be floating all around Washington. And I hope that we're going to ride this wave into Washington. I'm here to support. I can't be happier than this candidate. I think she's going to be a terrific president.
Thank you, Brian Brenton. So, thanks, Brian. Thank you so much for joining us all the way from London, Chris Rock. So it's the middle of the night there. You're the one who told me. Remember, Chris and I ran into each other this summer, and Chris, no matter where you meet him, it's funny. He goes, "There's going to be weeping in the streets. Are we ready for the weeping in the streets? When Kamala Harris becomes president of the United States of America. Weeping in the streets." What do you want to say, sir?
All right, everybody, all the celebrities over here coming out in support of Kamala Harris. Oprah, of course, with the hype train. You've got Chris Rock right now over here.
The district attorney or something. Maybe it was to get out of a parking ticket or something. But I've been writing a check for a long time, and I wanna bring my daughters to the White House to meet this black woman president.
That's a nice thing to say. Okay, yeah, that's a cool thing, right? He wants to bring his daughters to meet the first ever black woman president. Talk about making history. Undeniably, it will be historic if Kamala Harris does become president, the first ever black female president in the United States. What an example! What a role model to look up to for the younger generation. It will be incredible, without a doubt.
Stiller. Ben Stiller, I heard you were on the Comics for Kamala, and so I want to know, were all the Comics for Kamala trying to outdo each other with jokes for Kamala when you were on for Comics for Kamala?
They were, and I didn't outdo anyone. I was probably the least funny.
That's right, Whedon. That's funny. That's funny.
It was really, I mean, it was great though because everybody's so energized, and I mean, I got to go to the convention and see her speech, which was just incredible, and feeling that energy, feeling kind of going from
The convention was something else. I felt, as an outsider, of course, I felt that both the RNC and the DNC were incredible. Of course, the Republican convention was on the heels of the assassination attempt, so that was something else. The whole aura, the whole energy was something else. It was like the fight, fight, fight spirit of Donald Trump. He brought that to the table at the Republican convention when he was picked as a nominee. And, Hulk Hogan coming over there, ripping off his t-shirt, from that movement to Donald Trump's knees being out there, and so much more beyond that. I mean, the whole RNC was just incredible. Still gives me goosebumps. It was so, as Trump liked to call it, high energy. And same with DNC. DNC was quite emotional. The pick, when Kamala Harris was announced as the nominee, when Walz was announced as the running mate, it was incredible. The whole aura, it was majestic. So both RNC and DNC, they delivered this year. They were pretty special.
What happened 3 hours after Kamala, we knew that she was going to step into this candidacy?
First of all, Oprah, this is amazing to just be united. And that night, black women everywhere, we knew one thing. We wanted to gather in our joy, and we knew that we needed to get to work. And on that night, black women, the 44,000 on that Zoom, and the additional 50,000 black women and our friends that joined to watch that Zoom.
I never knew that you could have 44,000 people in a single Zoom meeting. I never knew that. That sounds pretty incredible to me.
Does that love letter that I often speak of? That love letter is a letter that started years before any of us in this room, you, myself, were even born. And it started by black women years ago who knew this moment would be here. But they worked and they knew they wouldn't see it, but one day we would. And I just think that it is an honor for all of us to be able to usher in this moment, knowing that those who watered this mighty field are now allowing us to eat of the fruit.
I love it. You know, Kamala Harris winning the presidential election would be historic. And as you can tell right now, with all these celebrities from Chris Rock to Oprah right now here herself, it is an emotional moment. It will be an emotional moment. It will be a milestone like no other. The first ever black female president. Historic in many ways. And that's why it's such an emotional issue. But the question is, of course, Kamala Harris winning would be historic, but is Kamala Harris the right candidate to be the first ever black female president? Will she go down as one of the greatest presidents of all time? That's the question, and hopefully the answer will be yes. But we've got Jonathan in the chat. Jonathan, my brother, great to see you. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Great to see you.
From hard-fought wins and hard-fought losses and knowing what's at stake. And that's why we're not going back.
We're not going back. Nobody wants to go back. Let's face it. Nobody wants to go back.
Thank you, Mr. White Dude. Thank you so much.
Did she call the guy, thank you, Mr. White Dude? Okay.
Well, what do you want
Okay.
black men to know about this election?
Well, thank you, Oprah Winfrey, for allowing us to be here and share in this amazing moment tonight. Brothers, men who are watching this and enjoying this moment, you have a choice. I choose experience and fortitude over something else.
Something
I
else.
come from
Yeah.
a litany of amazing black women, Kathy, Jahan, Megan Janelle, and I have an amazing 7-year-old CEO who runs my life. Hopefully she's at home, finished her homework, but we have a chance to do a performance review and give a promotion to the best qualified candidate to be president of the United States.
Okay, so Kevin, let me just ask you this.
Sorry.
Sorry. On the way here, when I was coming through the airport, black man stopped me and he said, I guess he knew I was coming here for something like this. And he goes, well, I'm just tell you, I'm voting for Trump. I'm voting for Trump because he gave me that check. And so I've heard that from several people, that I got the check, he gave us the check, and so therefore, forget about everything else. It's about the checks.
Well, what he doesn't know is that Congress actually paid for the check and the American people paid for it.
That's awesome, Jonathan. That is incredible. Talk about history, right? Hope you're doing well, my brother. It is always great to see you.
Other people feel that way.
We're not a monolith. You can have your viewpoint and views for where you believe, but I think choosing, if I have the choice to go into someone to make the best decision for my family, I don't want someone who has 34 convictions. I don't want someone who is going to choose hate over choosing the best possible way to unite us as a country. And so I see Vice President Harris as
A lot of people associate Donald Trump with hate, right? A lot of people do. A lot of people, including the Democratic Party, including the current president and the current vice president, they call Donald Trump a threat to democracy. Recently, the White House press secretary was asked about the same issue, and she was asked if calling Trump a threat would be the right statement, the right word to use, considering that there have been not one but two assassination attempts on the former president. The White House press secretary obviously declined to answer that very question, calling out that question as negative, as dangerous. She did not really directly respond to that question, but I feel that calling Trump a threat might not be the best term to use at the moment. You know, obviously, we all know the history associated with Trump. We all know about the January 6th that they talk about all the time. It is very unfortunate, and we all know what it brings to the table. But violence should never, ever be endorsed, and violence should never, ever be motivated or encouraged. That's for certain. Let's see, what else do we have here? Jonathan says, Ricky, we all know. My thoughts on that. What is that about? Okay, Ricky, I see your question about CM Punk and Drew. I like that. Imagine if CM Punk were to be president, right? It would be something else. But I remember CM Punk back in 2020, he sent out a tweet saying that, no, it was 2017 actually. He sent out a tweet asking his followers not to vote for anybody who has ever been in a wrestling ring except for himself, which obviously leaves room for CM Punk to run for president. Hopefully, it'll happen in the future, but of course, CM Punk does not endorse Trump, or so it seems.
Coming out in numbers we've never seen before, out to mobilize for Kamala Harris.
I see your comments, Ricky. I see your comments.
Not
Yeah.
only does she represent, our South Asian heritage, our love for Italy, but she also represents the values that, our parents, our grandparents immigrated to this country.
I'm really looking forward, actually, quite curious. If we've got a lot of people, of course, sitting over here, which seems like a town hall kind of format. We've got a lot of supporters all around the room. I am curious to see, and people from all heritage. We've got African Americans. We've of course got Caucasians. We've got people from Italy. I'm looking forward to seeing if we actually have somebody from Jewish heritage, because Trump earlier today, just minutes ago, was speaking to the Jewish community. We haven't seen a response to that just yet. All right.
We're so happy to be in your state.
Absolutely, Jonathan. Very well said, my brother.
Everybody who can vote, obviously, to vote, but it's very important.
But I've said this before, I'll say it again. Politics is dirty. But the way that, with the help of these debates and these rallies that are broadcasted on TV, and the way that the candidates put forward their policies and talk about their plans, this level of transparency that the Americans get to see when it comes to choosing their next president is amazing. And it's often taken for granted because it happens every 4 years. That presidential candidates come forth and they put forward their policies and their plans and they ask for people to vote for them. It is taken for granted, but I feel like it's incredible. Not many countries in the world follow the system, and the transparency that you get in America is awesome, I feel. But here we are. Venom says, I think John Cena and Rock have a great chance to win. Yeah, especially The Rock, right? Especially The Rock.
We got to do it. Do something, as Michelle Obama said at
Yes.
the convention.
Well, this is what we're doing tonight. We're doing something. Thank you for allowing us in your
Thank you.
state. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have a seat there. Right there. I want to bring in right now the chair of the Harris Waltz campaign, Jen O'Malley Dillon. Jen, hello. Have you seen anything like this?
No.
It's great fun.
It's
Tell us
amazing.
what needs to happen from this day until November 5th.
So first of all, this campaign is so inspired by the grassroots organizations that have come together like this, and it is making us stronger as a campaign to work together. We wouldn't be here without them today. We have 47 days left, and you all know the stakes or you wouldn't be here. And while we have this extraordinary growing enthusiasm,
Without a doubt, Jonathan, you're totally right about that. Some of the things are a bit too much, and that's true. It sometimes feels like a reality show, right? As you said, a little over the top. But again, we can sometimes overlook those parts of the election, but also talk about the great part that many other in the world just don't get to experience or get to benefit from, just like the transparency, just like how they lay out their policies. Not many countries do that, so it's incredible.
and to make sure that you're working in your own lives, have those hard conversations in big and small ways. We're going to inch our way over the finish line because we're going to be able to do it together.
And don't you need money?
Well, we do. We do. And these groups need money too. All of us do, because the work is happening on the ground and in the communities. So if you want to help in any way at all on the campaign, go to go.kamalaharris.com. But if you want to help and not be formally engaged with us and join any of these groups here, that's what we need too. It's going to take all of us.
Yes.
It sucks because I go back and I think about the 2017 presidential elections, and of course we all know what happened. Hillary Clinton, of course, did not win. Donald Trump was the one who won the race, the 2016 elections. But I feel like things could have been different if maybe Bernie Sanders was running, because Bernie was super popular around that time, especially among the Democrats. Seemed like everybody wanted Bernie to win. I actually did a little bit. I played a little bit of a role in Hillary Clinton's presidential ad campaign while I was in America. I was called in to partake in one of her ad campaign videos, and so I was there. I did an on-screen role as well as voiceover work for her ad campaign, and it was incredible, being a part of it. But funny enough, when I was, when we were shooting it, when we were recording the video, the ad, the people, the directors, the crew working over there, I just casually asked one of the crew members, "Do you support Hillary?" And the lady was like, "Hell no, we all support Bernie, but Bernie's out of the race now, so we gotta support Hillary." So I was quite surprised when I heard that, but it also told me that, wow, so Bernie was obviously the people's vote, but the party didn't think he was capable enough, hence they put Hillary on the throne. I still wonder if Bernie was given a chance to run against Trump, things might have been different. They might have been different.
A felon to the White House.
I'm voting Harris Walls and a blue ticket all the way.
In 2020, only 50% of young eligible.
And Ricky says, AJ, breaking news, Lucha Bros are going to go to WWE and heading to the main roster on 3-hour SmackDown. Really? That's awesome. That's great. That's interesting, Ricky. Okay, something to look forward to. Right now it's 50-50 for Trump and Kamala. So absolutely, Ricky, I agree. It's a too close to be called right now election, right? Anything can really happen. But from what it looks like, from what it appears, at least right now, I feel like it's going to be Kamala who's going to be winning. It seems like that's going to happen. The amount of support that she's getting, it seems like Kamala will be the winner of the race. But you never know. Right now, still too early and too close to call. Let's see.
Could her story unfold the way it has? From a child of immigrants to big sister to McDonald's worker, there is hope for y'all. District attorney, a wife, and mamala to senator to vice president. Please welcome Kamala Harris.
There she is. Kamala Harris is here. They set the stage. They set the stage for her the past 20-25 minutes, and now the stage is set. Everyone's hyped, and everyone's roaring right now for Kamala Harris as she makes her way out. Yeah, this is incredible. The whole setup, right? The whole stage that's been set for her. The way she's coming out here with people clapping, applauding her, hugging her, all smiles on the faces of everybody around her. They're setting such a positive tone, such a positive energy. It's very strong PR, I must tell you. It's a very strong PR. Yeah, it's like good versus evil. That is what's being portrayed here, it seems.
Hello, welcome to Michigan.
It's so good to be back. And Governor, thank you for everything you are and everything you do.
You're right, Ricky.
Thank
You're
you.
right, Venum. Yep.
Well,
Thank you.
can you see this? We have 1,000
Oh my
screens
goodness.
here
Oh my
representing people from all over the country.
Hi, everyone.
Can you
Oh my
feel?
goodness,
Can you
yes.
feel? Can you feel it? Can you feel
I
the joy rising in here?
I can, and I have to tell you, there's so much that I love about our campaign because it really is about the people. And I look around at these screens, Oprah, I look at who's in the room, and this is America.
This
This is America.
Not like Trump, brother. Trump comes out with his dancing and all that stuff. Yeah, Kamala comes out hugging everybody. Yeah, it's different.
Staying around powerful forces that would try and
I love Trump, how he comes out and he's like dancing. Yeah, great.
Yes.
That this movement that is about reminding each other that we have so much more in common than what separates us is so critically important. And this is about the strength of who we are as Americans. And this movement that we're in about, as I like to say, seeing in the face of a stranger a neighbor.
Yes, yes, yes,
Right?
yes, yes.
An extension of love thy neighbor, that you literally in the face of a stranger see a neighbor.
Yes.
And approach each other with that level of dignity and grace and kindness.
Well, that's exactly what happened with the Win with Black Women. I know
Yes.
you've known Joe Taylor for many years.
Thank you,
Well,
my
that's
dear.
exactly what happened.
She started it.
Is that they
started it.
They had to get called. They had to get called and then said, let's open the door.
Yeah.
Let's open the door and invite everybody else in, and everybody actually came.
Organically.
Yes.
Organically. Like,
Yeah.
this is the beauty of our country. There's so much at stake in this election. And ultimately, the question before us is, what kind of country do we want to live in? And the beauty of a democracy is...
Have a good night, my brother Jonathan. You take care. Always great to see you.
Each of us has the power to answer that question.
That's right. Everybody on this call and beyond has the power. But can I just start with this?
Yes, please.
I have to say this because in all of my private conversations, Gail and I've said this 100 times.
Yeah.
And everybody is saying it. You all have said it. I know you have. It seems to us that something happened to you the moment Joe Biden, President Biden, stepped aside and withdrew his candidacy, that a veil or something dropped and you just stepped into your power.
I think something happened for sure when Joe Biden dropped. She was announced as a nominee, or she was a presumptive nominee. So she got to work, right? She got right to work. That's what happened, Oprah. That's really what happened.
We each have those moments in our lives where it's time to step up.
Time to step up.
Time to step up.
Well, the moment you heard, I mean, I really have been saying to people, it felt like a veil dropped and you sort of stepped through that.
Never trust anybody who claps like this. Like, come on. Is this the best you've got?
Of responsibility, to be honest with you. And with that comes a sense of purpose. But I mean, we're all here and you all are taking time out of your busy lives, everyone here, everyone on the screen, because there really is so much at stake. I have spent the majority of my career being concerned about the well-being of other people.
Yeah.
Take care, Ricky, my brother. You have a good night. I'll see you soon. Take care.
Moral witness and ask them, are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever ask them is, are you okay?
Are you okay? I know when I heard that. Touch me.
And traveling this country and knowing what is at stake in terms of fundamental freedoms, what's at stake in terms of fighting against hate and those efforts to divide us. And I do know that I'm in a position to do something about it. So I felt a great responsibility. And the incredible power of the people, right? Who, I'm not the only leader in this. We're all leaders in this. This is so much bigger than me. It's about who we are as Americans. And it's about making clear what we stand for. And what we stand for is, it is about the ideals upon which we were founded, including the importance of freedom and the importance of independence and the importance of dignity and purpose, but it is also about what we stand for in terms of our values. I think of it
I
this
think
way.
a lot boils down to values. I just said
It really
values.
does. It does. I mean, think about it, Oprah. The idea that someone suggesting that my opponent suggests, which is that the measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down. Come on. The real measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you lift up. And it's important for us.
Absolutely. Ever since the debate, we feel for our fellow citizens in Springfield. Do you not think about the fellow citizens in Springfield, Ohio, the Haitian families, the non-Haitian families, everybody having to deal with this lie that has endangered the lives of Haitian people and anybody who looks Haitian. Everybody in a America feels for that, and I also, everybody in America, left, right, middle, has concerns about immigration. And I'm told that Justin, where are you in the audience? Justin,
Hello.
in our audience.
Hello, Madam Vice President.
You live in Michigan.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't you love saying hello, Madam Vice President?
I do.
What's your question? It's an immigration
Question
question.
for you is, when you become president, what would be your specific steps? Yeah, of course. What would be your specific steps to strengthening the border?
So it's a wonderful and important question. You know, my background was as a prosecutor, and I was also the elected Attorney General for 2 terms of a border state. So this is not a theoretical issue for me. This is something I've actually worked on. I have prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. I take very seriously the importance of having a secure border and ensuring the safety of the American people. Sadly, where we are now can be traced most recently back to the fact that when the United States Congress, members of Congress, including some of the most conservative Republicans, came up with a border security bill. And here's what that border security bill would have done. It would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border. Let me tell you, those border agents are working around the clock. It would have just been about giving them some support and relief, which is probably why the border agents actually endorsed the bill. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl. And I'm looking at people from all over the country here, so I don't need to tell the folks who are watching this what fentanyl has done to families, to kids in our country, and the need to take seriously stemming the flow coming into our country and addressing that extraordinary and tragic issue in terms of its effect. The bill would have allowed us to have more resources to prosecute transnational criminal organizations. And it would have been part of the solution. And Donald Trump called up those folks and said, don't put that bill on the floor for a vote. He blocked the bill, and you know why? Because he preferred to run on the problem instead of fixing the problem. And he has put his personal political security before border security. Because understand, even in the intervening months, what that bill would have done to give support to folks who care about this issue. And this again gets to the point about what does leadership really look like? And is it about you or is it about the people? Is it about running on problems or fixing problems? My work and my career has always been about saying, let's fix problems. Let's address the needs because we know it's within our capacity to do that.
So to answer Justin's question, now that that bill has gone, it hasn't passed, will you reintroduce that?
Absolutely. And when I am elected President of the United States, I will make sure that bill gets to my desk and I will sign it into law.
All right, so as president, she wants to sign that bill into law. She wants to pass the bill that apparently Trump rejected and he refused and he made sure wasn't passed. That is her plan to secure the borders as president. But it's quite interesting how she, on the heels of President Trump's second assassination attempt, she's talking about how Trump gives more preference to his own personal political security than border security. And I feel like that's not a great statement to make, especially on the heels of a second assassination attempt on Trump. Not a great statement, not a very wise statement, I feel.
Do things within their means and like not extravagant things, but be able to get up and go to dinner whenever they want, or maybe take that trip, that long weekend trip. We don't have that luxury.
By a long shot, her tax plan is phenomenal, no glaze.
Kamala Harris just delivered her new economic...
Are they showing TikTokers right now? Because it feels like they're showing a bunch of TikTokers right now. Okay. All right.
Kamala Harris is going to announce tomorrow a $25,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers.
When I am elected president, I will make it a top priority to bring down costs and increase economic security for all Americans.
Well, Rachel and Garrett are joining us on Zoom from Pennsylvania, and I understand your sister and brother-in-law moved in, and you're hoping to save money to have a second child.
That's right. Hi, Oprah. Hi, Madam Vice President. It's nice to be with you all.
Yes.
Hi.
And so, what did you want to say to the vice president?
So, Madam President, we are, like many, many young Americans, just experiencing a very high cost of living. We ended up giving up our apartment, moving in with our parents who were so gracious to take us in for over a year so that we could save money and ultimately buy a home, because that's what we thought the American dream was, to get married and buy a home and have a baby. And now here we are, and our mortgage is incredibly higher than what we thought it would be. And my sister
Not just an American dream. I think that is any individual's dreams across the globe. Not just an American dream, I feel.
us pay off some of our mortgage. It's also beneficial for them because they can save on cheaper rent. But we really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living.
Yeah, first of all, thank you both for being here. And yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family. And
When it comes to the prices, from my understanding, the prices have only gone up during the Biden Harris administration. So this might not be a great topic to discuss because, let's be honest, the prices have only gone up the past 4 years. But let's see what Kamala Harris wants to do to reduce the costs.
I'm taking on, for example, price gouging, which is when, most companies and corporations are good, but for those bad ones, they take advantage of people, especially during a pandemic or extreme weather, and they end up jacking up prices, and there needs to be accountability and consequence for that. So I'm going to be taking on price gouging.
That's nice.
But it's also about dealing with what we need to do around home ownership, right? So as someone mentioned during this film, look, I grew up a child of a mother who worked very hard. She raised me and my sister, and she saved up, and by the time I was a teenager, she was able to buy a home. And we grew up actually for a long time in an apartment on top of a child care center that was owned by the woman we called our second mother because she helped my mother raise us. And she was a small business owner, Miss Shelton. So I'll bring all this together to tell you the way I think about it is, one, when people work hard and have a dream of buying a home, we should give you the opportunity to be able to do that, which is why part of my plan is for first-time homeowners, buyers, to have a $25,000 down payment assistance to buy your first home. Because people just need to be able
That's
to
actually
get
nice.
in the door.
That's a nice thing. Yeah.
Part of my plan is what we need
I like that it's a part of her plan, but if you compare when it comes to, young couples, when it comes to their needs, would this assistance be of help, or would it be Trump's free IVF plans? Because let's be honest, right now, both Kamala and Trump, their plans are just plans. These are just political promises. We don't know if they'll deliver on that. We don't know if they'll actually get it passed and get it approved and get it done. Trump says that he wants to mandate the insurance companies to make IVF free for the end customer, that is the couples. And he says, if not the private insurance, it's going to be the government that's going to pay for IVF. Kamala Harris wants to make life easier for the first-time home owners with $25,000. Both are political promises right now, but the question is, which one would benefit the couples, the young couples? Would it be the free IVF, which IVF is an expensive treatment? Would that be better? Or would this $25,000 bonus be better for the first-time home buyers?
It just hasn't happened, right? Part of to speak to you guys and your family and your dreams is what we need to do around giving middle-class families tax breaks. And so part of
Thank
my
you.
plan is also
How do
to
you?
expand the
Think
child
of?
tax credit to $6,000. So
Take
that
one.
you can, in the first year of your child's
Right,
life,
you're sorry.
have the resources to be able to buy a crib and a car seat and clothes for your baby. And that's such an extraordinarily important time in their development, and you shouldn't have to worry about how you're going to take care of their basic needs. All of this and more is part of what I plan to build, and I call it an opportunity economy. And it's basically about creating opportunities, knowing so many people have the ambition, have the aspirations, are working hard, but just need opportunity to reach their goals and their dreams.
I saw you smiling with that $25,000 credit for the home. I saw that smile on your face and the 6,000. Thank you all so much. I want to just introduce to Shelby.
Interesting, right? I mean, it all comes back to, I don't know, 25,000 credit is great. But earlier, before this event really kicked off, before Kamala Harris took to the stage, one of the supporters sitting over there in the room was asked why some people support Donald Trump because they were given some check, and and they were criticizing the fact that apparently people were getting paid, and that's why they were supporting Trump. And then we come down to talking about $25,000 credit and whatnot, and that's why you should support Kamala. It all comes down to money, does it not? In one way or the other, it comes down to money, which is quite interesting. But anyways, let's move on.
To fully support myself once I do live independently.
You sound like one of my daughter girls from South Africa graduated. She was like, I hate adulting. I hate adulting. This adulting isn't going so well. Yes.
Well, so first of all, congratulations on all the success you've already achieved. And it is your story and the story of our friends before you is really, that's the American story, right? You are working hard, you have goals, you have ambitions. And so part of it is, again, the $25,000 down payment assistance. Part of it is what we need to do to also push back against a very different vision for our country. Because look, in this election, there are two.
I like how it's a virtual town hall and they've already picked the people who they're going to be asking questions from. It's all nice and it's all systematic. It looks nice on TV, but I wish that this was like an actual town hall where they would pick maybe random people from the crowd and they would have their questions pitched and Kamala would answer those random questions. It seems more systematic. It seems more like well prepared. Sometimes random questions from random people in an actual town hall, I think it just works better when it comes to political campaigns. I feel so.
Sachs, which is why Moody's, which is why Wharton School of Business, which is why 16 Nobel laureates have collectively determined, after analyzing our plans, one, mine would strengthen the economy, his would weaken it. Two, that on his plan, he would actually blow up inflation and invite a recession by the middle of next year. So when you think about the cost of living,
Yeah, kind of. It is, of course, quite well prepared. We already know. They already know who they were going to be, having up here asking the questions. So it is quite prepared. It is not you wouldn't call this a town hall. They're not taking random questions, and that's a fact.
Amen to that. Thank you, Shelby. Thank you, Rachel and Garrett. So the Harris campaign kicked off the Fighting for Reproductive Freedom bus tour to support the fundamental right for women to make decisions about our own bodies. And here is a short tape on that.
I did something that nobody's always. Got rid of Roe v. Wade.
After Roe v. Wade was overturned, Tennessee put forth a ban immediately that banned all abortion with no exceptions.
Abortion bans are not pro-life. They are pro-poverty and pro-inequality.
It's been over 2 years since a 5.
Since then, abortions have been banned in over a dozen states. Many women and doctors say the limits on reproductive rights have forced them into unimaginable situations.
These policies do not reflect evidence-based medical practice. They do not keep my patients safe.
So they're talking about abortion right now. This is one of those ground. This is one of those subjects where they feel they have a clear upper hand over Donald Trump, and they do. Donald Trump is very much, or his party. Donald Trump, I feel, is trying to find a middle ground. He did say at one point that 5 weeks or 6 weeks was way too less. To find out even if you're pregnant. So he said 5 weeks or 6 weeks is not right, and it's not ideal when it comes to abortion. And he says that the limit, it should be set higher, it should be extended. 6 weeks wouldn't do it. And I felt like he was trying to find the middle ground until his party and the party supporters, of course, they were not happy with his statements, and of course he had to go back on these statements. And he said, the Democrats are too liberal, so we have to do what we have right now, and we have to stick to the current policy, what the Republicans stand by. And of course, if you compare Republicans and Democrats, it seems like Democrats have the upper hand because they're more liberal when it comes to abortion. But Trump also posed a very good question to Kamala Harris during the presidential debate, the ABC presidential debate. Trump asked the moderators to ask Kamala Harris if she would support abortion in the 8th month or the 9th month, and Kamala very clearly declined to comment. Also, the moderators clearly declined to take that question and pose it to Kamala. I feel like that was an important question. I feel like it should have been asked because supporting abortion in the 8th or 9th month could be, for many people, absolutely outrageous and absolutely unacceptable. Kamala was never asked that question. She never answered it. She never responded to it. But I feel like the American people, they owe the answer. They definitely need that answer.
Fathom thinking about the other halfies out there that don't have that choice, that don't have somebody to go to. So being able to
Let's also not forget, Trump has promised free IVF, which Kamala clearly declines to talk about. She declines to talk about it.
Voting in this election regarding what happened to you and what that means.
You can't wait until it's too late to care about reproductive health care because then it's too late. And when it affects you, it hits, and you can't deny it. You can't look at someone with a story like mine and say it didn't happen. And there are more people like me out there, and there are going to be so many more who deserve their options. They deserve their choices. Let's get involved. We have someone who's willing to hear us at a level like never before. We have someone who wants to know what we want in this country. We have someone who wants to lift up our voice, and we need to show out and show up for her just like she's showing out and showing up for us. All right.
Yeah.
Madam Vice President.
Madam Vice President, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for seeing us, for hearing us when the Supreme Court won't. Thank you for fighting and, really showing us that life is not about the hard things that you go through. You don't bow down.
But jokes aside, or, I would say criticism aside, women's rights should be the absolute utmost priority. Women's rights should not be neglected or should not be kept secondary. It's sad that in 2024, people are still fighting and they're still debating about women's rights in different aspects. This should not be a debate. Women should have just as much of rights as men do. We're equal. We are created equal. So the fact that we still debate over women's rights, reproduction rights, or any other sort of rights should not happen in 2024. It is very sad when you look across the globe. By the way, driving in many countries was just legalized in recent years for women, which is very sad, including in the US. Not too long ago was it legalized, even voting. And, in 2024, we're still talking about stuff like reproduction rights. Should not be the case. Should not be the case. We have to. There should be laws kept in place so you're respectful of human life, but also we should stop debating about women's rights because they should be the same as men's rights. Same. There should be no difference. There should be no debate over it. It is very sad when you look at countries like Afghanistan. I was just watching a news video, a news brief of Afghanistan, where it is now it seems like it is illegal, or it is banned for women to even speak in public, for women's voice to be heard in public. It is very, very sad that in this day and age, in 2024, mindset like this still exists and it is still happening. It is very sad. And right now, as a developed nation such as America, we should not be debating, or America should not be debating about women's rights within the country, which, should be the same as men's, but they should be fighting over women's rights in countries like Afghanistan. They should be talking about it on a much larger, on a global scale, so that the women in countries like Afghanistan, where they're being super suppressed right now, they can live free and they can enjoy the same rights as every other woman in every other country. That's what I feel.
I did not want the public to know my pain. I wanted to go through in silence, but I realized that it was selfish. I want y'all to know Amber was not a statistic. She was loved by a family, a strong family. And we would have done whatever to get my baby, our baby, the help that she needed. When ProPublica came to my home, I pushed them away. No, no, no. But Kavithia, she was persistent. She said, it was something that you needed to know. You have to hear me. Women around the world, people around the world need to know that this was preventable. 2 years later, after speaking with my daughters, because I lost strength, I lost hope, you're looking at a mother that is broken. The worst pain ever that a mother, that a parent could ever feel. Her father and myself and the family, you're looking at it.
Well, we appreciate so deeply you being here, and we're all watching you hear that tape and those words. We know how re-traumatizing that is, and the strength it takes for you to be here to tell your story, and we deeply appreciate it. And I have to ask you, as her sisters, how are you coping, and what does knowing that this could have been prevented, how does that sit with you? How do you cope?